Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. So we are on day 10 of 30 Purple Inks 30 days. So let's pick our ink of the day. And this is, Troublemaker Purple Yam. This is a sample from Troublemaker. I'm so excited to use this one. So let me go grab it and I will be right back. Alright, this is the cute little sample from Troublemaker. It said on the website that it was a 1 milliliter sample, but I think this vial holds about 2 milliliters and it's a little more than half full. So it's actually a bit more than a 1 milliliter sample, but that was how they advertised it. And of course they're not selling on the website right now, but I don't think they're even offering the samples as an option. I mean, if you look at the website, you don't see the samples on there. So I feel very lucky that I got the samples when I did. So this is a teeny little sample, and it's pretty full. So I'm going to try to be very careful with this thing and not spill it, because, you know, this is some precious stuff. This is some hard to get stuff. And actually, what I think I might do is just fill the converter, because the pen is so big, I don't think I could fit it down in there. So I'm just going to put the converter down in there and get some ink that way. Because they are teeny little samples. And I also don't want it to overflow. Because again, it'd make a mess and I don't want to waste it. Okay. So there you see I have some ink, and let me wipe this off a little bit. Goodness, I usually have about 10 paper towels around here, and now I don't see one, so I'm just going to use the corner of this really dirty one. Alright. So we are going to put the converter back in the pen, and we're gonna give it a turn until we see some ink coming out. And it might take it a second. Okay, so did you see the ink come out right there? Right out of the breather? Is that the breather hole? The feeder hole? Anyway, that's where the ink goes in and out of the feed. So the feed has been flooded with ink. So I'm going to give that a second to kind of continue flowing. And I need to get our swatch card. And I think when I ordered the set of inks from Troublemaker, it was two different ones. It was their sheening and shimmering set, and then it was the regular set. And I ordered it actually on 2 different occasions. I was very lucky to get the samples twice, but there were different ones each time. So some of them I have 2 samples of, and some of them I just have 1 sample of. And gosh, there was a point to me telling you that. I can't remember what it was. Da-da-da. Oh well, it's gone. Maybe I'll think of it. Okay, so let's see if our ink is flowing. Not quite yet. Okay, so while we're waiting for the pen to get saturated, I'm going to go ahead and put some washi tape on our calendar. Oh look, here's the paper towels. They were hiding under my notebook. So here is our washi tape for today. This lovely black one with pink flowers on it. Now I'm not sure if these are dogwoods or if these are sakura. And probably this washi tape. Oh my goodness, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. So this is our washi tape for today. It's black with pink and white flowers. And like I said, these are probably sakura or the Japanese cherry blossoms, but they look very much like dogwoods. So I don't know if any of you out there are familiar with dogwoods, but we have them all over Virginia, and actually they're the Virginia state flower. I think they're the state flower of several states, but we just have them everywhere around here, and they look very similar. So I'm just going to block off my little square here. Let me see. And I know people always say that it's boring to talk about the weather, but I love talking about the weather, and I think I missed my calling as a meteorologist. But I find the weather fascinating, and I'm always online looking up the weather in other places. But if anybody's interested, it was really high humidity here in Virginia today. It's been raining for the last couple of days, which of course does not help the humidity, but it's humid here even when it's not raining. So it's like a sauna outside. And it's just not comfortable to be outside. It was only 80 degrees today, I think. I think 80 was the high, which isn't bad, but when it's like 80 or 90% humidity, it is just miserable. So I'm going to test the pen again. Oop, oop, oop. I think we have some action. All right, so let's continue with our swatch card. So this is Troublemaker. Oh, I think the point of me talking about the samples was I haven't used most of them. I haven't swatched them or tried them or anything because it's such a small amount of ink. I was just really nervous about using them, which is silly because you buy samples to use them, right? So I'm really glad that this one came up because I've been really interested to see what it looks like. And it is a super dark purple. I'm looking at it on the camera and it looks almost black, but it is a really dark grayish purple, if that makes sense. All right, let's see what the swatch looks like, which should be very interesting. Pretty much the only inks I've used from Troublemaker are the bottles that I have, which are Milky Ocean, my favorite, abalone, and sea glass. And then I used the oh, sorry, looking at the ink swatch. Ooh, that is very interesting. That is just a super dark ink. And you know how we always talk about blue-black ink? Is there such a thing as purple black? Because I think this might be a purple black ink. Really interesting. And I'm not getting a whole lot of drip out of this thing. All right. Wow. Very interesting. How close can I get this without it going fuzzy on us? Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. And I feel like I lost my train of thought. But I haven't been using my samples. I've kind of been hoarding them. Oh, right. I've used the 3 bottles that I bought. And then of the samples, I swatched the, oh goodness, I've forgotten the name. Was it Starry Night Sky, I think? Back when I did that glistening ink swatching video. Oh, maybe I should go ahead and swatch this one. Let's see. Do I have enough ink on there to do a swatch? I don't think I do. And I used Battanian turquoise, I believe, in my Curadas. The first time I filled up my Curadas, which was a huge mistake. You don't use a fancy ink in a fancy pen. What I mean is, if you think that the pen or the ink might be trouble, you want to use a reliable pen or ink. So with my Curadas, I should have used a very reliable basic ink, and with the Battanian turquoise, I should have used a very basic reliable pen until I had gotten used to both of them. But I think other than that, I haven't tried any of the samples, and gosh, there's like 20 of them. It's crazy. Troublemaker has so many different kinds of inks, so many colors, and so many properties. I just love them, and I'm rambling on, and I'm forgetting my train of thought. Okay, so we're supposed to be writing now. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm going to do this one second because I need to let this swatch dry a little bit. So we're going to start with the Clairefontaine. so let's take a closer look at these. So this is the Clairefontaine paper. And that is a really interesting ink. Again, I would have to call that a purple black. Instead of a blue black, it's a purple black. It is just really, really dark purple. It's a dark gray purple. And I'm not really seeing much sheening. I'm not really seeing much shading in it. Maybe a bit in the broad nib, but not much. So let's take a look at the Exceed paper. Whoops. Let's see. Now I do see a bit more shading on this paper, but again, it is that super dark purple. Very interesting color, very unique color. Okay, so let's take a look at our swatch card. Hopefully it has had a chance to dry some. Nope. There is still a big wet spot. So it's hard to say what that is going to do when it dries. Is it just going to dry? Is it going to have a halo? Is it going to have some sheen? I'm not really getting a feeling of sheen out of this ink. So these other areas at the top where I kind of did a little blob, there's no sheen on those. So I think this is just wet. I think it just hasn't dried yet. And it's coming out a little bit bluer on the camera, but it's just a really dark grayish purple. Very interesting. And I'm looking at the writing on the top of the card, and it looks like there's some shading there too. Just a little bit. I wouldn't call it a huge shader, but some. Okay, so let's look at some comparison cards. So again, get this where you guys can see it. Let's see, just for comparison, this is yesterday's ink, Bishop to King. So a much more brighter, much more redder purple. So not a match at all. And there's our friend Sharawhite, which is, it's a very dark purple, especially in these areas where it pooled, but it doesn't have that grayish undertone that I usually find in a blue-black. And this, to me, seems to have that grayish tone to it. Very interesting. Here is Noodler's La Couleur Royale. Again, a dark purple, kind of close to Sharawhite, but again, it doesn't have that grayish undertone that I'm seeing in Purple Yam. Here is Private Reserve Ebony Purple, and I think this would sheen a lot more if I had done a better job with the swatch card. It looks like it's trying to sheen a little bit, but it just didn't come out very well. I'm not sure if you guys are getting that impression, but this is a very dark purple, but it's more on the reddish end, and this is definitely more on the bluish end. Let's see, who else do we have that's really dark? Here is Private Reserve Purple Mojo, and that is a much brighter purple and definitely more on the red end. And here is Private Reserve DC Super Violet. This was from a couple of days ago, and again on that much redder end like Purple Mojo. Not nearly as dark and not with that kind of grayish undertone to it. And there's one of my favorites, Hayabusa. I love it, but again, much brighter. So that's definitely not a match. And who else do we have in here? Let me see. And here's Alexander Hamilton. He is definitely much redder. Definitely looks more like a burgundy. Kind of like our friend Noodler's Purple Heart, which looks very burgundy. Now this one is looking a bit closer. This is Robert Oster Dragon's Night, and I would say this is more purplish than grayish purple, if that makes sense. It's a more vivid purple, even though it's still very dark. And this does have some of that orange sheen to it. Let me see if you guys can see that on the camera. Beautiful color, very beautiful. So We're getting closer, but I still don't think we're there yet. Here is Lamy Azurite, and that of course is a brighter purple with lots of sheen. And let me see, here is Scribble Purple, and that is a very dark purple. And that's more along the lines of Diamine Scribble Purple. They're both really dark, reddish kind of purples with some sheen. Now the sheen on the Scribble Purple is showing up much better because I think of the way that I did the swatch card, so this one just needs to be redone. But they're kind of close to each other, but definitely not close to Purple Yam. And there again is Azurite. So who else do we have? Let's see, here is Diamine Bilberry, and that's definitely a lighter purple with some sheen. And here is Ferris Wheel Pressed Tanzanite Sky. Now, I think that might be fairly close. Again, I think this like Dragon's Night is that more purplish color, and I think these are actually kind of similar to each other. They're that deep purple with the reddish sheen, and this has that grayish undertone to it. And now that it's drying, I think I see some sheen coming out on it. And it looks like it might be some greenish sheen, maybe. Just a little bit. But it's there. Something is definitely happening. So, I think those are about my closest ones. I have quite a few dark purples, but that's certainly a unique one. So that's very interesting. I always love to compare all the different inks, and who knew there could be so many different purples in the world, and I only have a sampling of all the purples. Even all of my blue inks that I have so many blue inks, and I just have a sample of all of the ones out there. So it's just amazing. And don't they say that the human eye can see like 1,000,000 different colors or millions of different colors? It's just amazing. So the ink makers will never get bored. There's always new colors to be created. Alrighty, so here is our little calendar square. And boy, doesn't he look dark. Dark, dark, dark. It looks almost blue in this swatch, like a dark navy blue. But we can tell from the swatch card that it has that purpley gray undertone to it. So if you look at the blob here, that looks like the swatch here, but then probably when you write with it, it'll show these lighter tones to it. So really interesting. Congratulations again, Troublemaker. You just continue to make the most fascinating inks, and I can't wait to start swatching some of the other ones because some of them are just fascinating. And I can't wait until they start selling them again. I know I said I'm trying to slow down on the buying, but if I see that there's a sale going on the Troublemaker website, I am going to be all over it. Okay, so I think that is all for today. Oh, there's our little paper again, which we all saw before. So what am I looking for? What am I looking for? Oh, the swatch. I mean the vial. So there it is. Cute little tiny vial, little baby vial of Purple Yam. So beautiful. Oh, nope, you guys can't even see that. My goodness. What is up with my camera tonight? All right, well, there we go. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have enjoyed your own pens and inks today, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.